Hello everyone, as you can tell we are struggling a little bit. This match was supposed to start a few minutes ago, but unfortunately we did kind of get stuck. One of the players could not sign into Steam for the longest time. Yes, I know we sort of are a minute past that 8:15 rule, but they are ready to go now. They're actually underneath my alt. I gave them my epic alt to play on, so it's going to make for a pretty interesting time because Oasis is going to be casting, but there's also going to be Oasis playing on the pitch, so try not to get confused. The Oasis on the pitch is not me, it's actually a player named Rue, who is tier 3, I believe, of Mighty Ducks. And speaking of Mighty Ducks, that prediction should be up. It's Balls Deep Unit versus Mighty Ducks is going to be the first match of the night. Later on at 8:45, we've got... who do we have? 8:45? Yeah, I forget. But it's okay, we'll check later. Anyways, this Rue kid is currently going through the training, because at the beginning of every time when you log into a new account or an Epic account, it makes you redo the tutorial. So he's currently going through that. Hopefully he's already mostly through it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this lobby set up while we wait for just a second or two here. Alright, that lobby is set up. Like I mentioned, that we are waiting on that one player. Looks like he is here though. Both players seem to be joining up. Finally should be getting our way into the first match. Bit scuffed, to say the least, but it's okay. We finally made it here, chat. All said and done. Chat, here we go for game number 1. The overlay is dead. That is unlucky. There we go. Game number 1, here we go. Balls Deep Unit versus Mighty Ducks. We've seen a little bit about Mighty Ducks in the past, actually. You know Rubber Ducky is going to be... Huh? Is someone gone? Is someone AFK? Am I missing? Okay, there is no one AFK. It looks like just a little bit of an awkward stuff can tend to happen off the kickoff. There's also a lot of chat happening because I messed with the team name, but it's alright. You guys can't see it on the overlay, but in the actual match, it looks like I messed up the team name. Not the biggest deal though. And as we get... Bro... Okay. I mean, alright. If you really want to restart because of the team name, like, okay, sure, be my guest. Okay. This is so troll, guys. This is so incredibly troll. Game's rigged. Are both teams happy now? They got their team names? Holy moly. Okay, so after some monumental trolling from both teams, you can finally start to actually commentate here for game number 1. Now, we've seen Mighty Ducks in the past. They have a pretty good record, very solid middle of the pack team. Balls Deep in your net as well are looking to continue some of that middle of the pack streak, hopefully find their way into the top 4, but that top 4 is locking down much quicker than these teams anticipate. And if you've looked at the leaderboard recently, you've probably seen that with my fan club definitely sitting nice and pretty up at the top here in the first seed. And there's going to be a couple of other teams looking to try and take that position. It's going to be Balls Deep Net scoring first, courtesy of Alex, a massive dunk on the goal line off the initial touch. Goes irregular dunk, and speaking of irregular dunks, there's someone in this chat who loves that particular play. His name is Dessa. The last time we saw him on the stream, he was absolutely popping off of those air double dunks. Now Alex looks like he might take some inspiration here. And as we head into the beginning of game number 1, we're going to be looking pretty closely, especially at Mighty Ducks. They're tier 3, that's going to be a Rue who is showing up on this pitch as a Wasicle. Quite literally just hopped on. He might be a little bit cold, and as you can see here, not feeling the most mechanical just yet, but he does manage to find his way towards a first and an equalizer off the back of a great pass from Rubber Ducky. And you've got to respect the attempt. I mean, Rue has some of the most incredible mechanics for a tier 3 standard. And when you see him going for a flip reset, you have no choice but to respect it. That leads directly into the first as Mighty Ducks find the equalizer. Now Rubber Ducky, taking his time on this ball, may choose to rotate back here, allow his teammates to rotate in. Actually ends up providing a lot of space for balls deep in your net to bounce. That's not a great bounce, it's off the hood of Wasicle's car. Wasicle being a Rue of this course. I'm gonna get confused a lot throughout the course of this stream, but hopefully you guys will be able to understand. But nearly a pretty dangerous situation for balls, or for Mighty Ducks I should say. They make it out alive. Now it's going to be Closty from the corner. Rubber Ducky goes up early to attempt to deny this, but Closty dishes it out midfield. No follow-up from balls deep in your net just yet though. It's Alex taking his time looking for another dunk, and he's found it yet again. Alex is known in the past to be a more mechanical player, likes to outspeed his opponents. But today in particular, he's looking very strong on the 50s, and Mighty Ducks is going to have to find a way to contend against that. And Alex, he's all around the pitch, and it's into the back of your net. Mighty Ducks have no response for this man just yet, having scored 2 of the goals for balls deep in net. 100% goal participation from Alex thus far. Mighty Ducks still looking for an answer here. They haven't found a way to contend against Alex's 50s, and those were directly responsible for finding his first. And, well, his second goal, to be honest. Now Alex, oh, he just barely grazed the edge of that ball, wasn't able to make the connection he wanted. You can see just how close he was. In fact, on your screen, he probably just barely clipped it, but the orange trail seems to say otherwise. Mighty Ducks found a way to equalize yet again, 2-2 apiece, and as we approach halftime in game number 1. Haven't seen too much out of the tier 2s in this particular matchup. It's mostly been the tier 1, tier 3 versus tier 1, tier 3 apiece. King Rocco as well as, I mean, we've seen him pop off a bit in the past. That's just, that's the opposite of a pop off though. He does manage to accidentally own goal from the corner. Pretty ridiculous angle to say the least. Balls deep in your net once again. Going to be looking for some of that magic from Alex to find their way towards the equalizer. Oh, Rocco, that's a devastating miss. As Rubber Ducky is up to take the shot, Rocco couldn't find the angle. Kloss in a very difficult position, does his best to make the 50. But he can't find it, and now Mighty Ducks up by 2. A very different story. Balls deep in your net. Very early part of game number 1. Seemed like they had the upper hand, but Alex, clearly not a one-man show. Kloss deep to the crossbar. Rocco finds the follow-up. And a third. Very high scoring game here for balls deep in your net, as firstly, no defense on either side of the pitch, as you can kind of see both Rue and Renchiro flopping around inside the net, doing their best to make the stop, but any clear they would have made in that position was likely to not do too hot, I should say, as Alex sends this one waterfalling. Closty to the skies. Rubber Ducky forced to go up quickly, sees one other player up, and King Rocco is forced to take the clear. Oh, Rocco, that's a great pass, but Closty comes up empty. And we've seen a couple missed opportunities from Closty, but he's been getting close. The opportunities are there for balls deep. But the heartbreak begins to settle in once you're trailing by 1, and 2 missed opportunities from Closty thus far. There's another pass infield. Closty, oh, it's off the crossbar again. Thankfully Alex has the follow-up. But I've gotta say, unfortunately for Closty, that's 3 shots or 3 shot opportunities. Hasn't found the accuracy just yet. Luckily Alex is there to sweep it under the rug. And, I mean, simply cannot stop Alex right now, responsible for 75% of balls deep internet goals. They choose to fake the kickoff here. And look at these passing plays go from balls deep, as Alex taking to the skies again, just under a half tank to work with. Rubber Ducky looking for the instant shot. Alex off the crossbar to deny. He knows the power of that backboard, and if I had mini co-casting with me right now, he'd be saying backboard, 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 backboard. The number one thing that any team will look for, especially in TRL, to try and break down some of that defense. And Alex knows full well that that backboard is part of his responsibility. Rubber Ducky doesn't find the connection here, but it does make the balls deep in your net defense hesitate. Almost enough to find the 5th for Mighty Ducks. They don't find it though. Rubber Ducky looking for a 50. Klosty knows better though, takes his time on the 50, but Rue there denied once again from the corners. Both teams ping-ponging. Ranchiro finds the long clear past his halfway line in a 5th for Mighty Ducks. I don't think anyone saw this one coming as 2 players committed, one of them being Alex. And now is balls deep, trailing by 1, looking for some more of that magic. Alex has been cooking all game long, but will it be enough as Mighty Ducks comes bearing down once again? It's been a very high scoring game thus far. Will not be too surprised that that's going to be a little bit of a mistouch from Rue, and oh my goodness, a mistouch and a half as Rue first sends it to the backboard. Alex is able to capitalize, does send it off target initially, but it's off the hood of Rue's car and into the back of the net. An unfortunate way to lose the 1-goal lead from Mighty Ducks, but balls deep your net. Once again, now thank you the Stars, as we've equalized for what feels like the 5th time here in game number 1 alone. 10 goals over the course of 5 minutes. An absolutely ridiculous stat, a goal scored every 30 seconds. Now as this one's geared to head towards overtime, it's really going to be a battle of the defense as both these teams have yet to step it up on the defensive end of the pitch. The offense, 100% there, by all means. It's Mighty Ducks going to technically win the kickoff, but it ends up into the hands of Alex. Alex does lose possession, allows Ranchiro an opportunity to rotate in. Now Rubber Ducky as well, he's not going to find the 50, Rue will. Rubber Ducky cutting rotation to find a possession here. That's can always be a tough thing to manage, knowing when to cut rotation, when to leave it for your teammates, but as a tier 1, it's definitely a skill that they should be getting close to mastering. Rubber Ducky is definitely one of those folks who knows when to cut, when to let his teammates take possession. Rocco, he doesn't find the jump here, he ends up front flipping, but he does find a bump instead. Maybe was hoping for a teammate to go up, just like Klosty is doing now. But unfortunately, Rue is there to stop that attack even before it begins. Rocco, that's a big clear. Rubber Ducky, he's in a tough spot. Ranchiro as well chooses to go up early, but now as balls deep, bearing down as Mighty Ducks 70 meters away from losing this overtime. Alex, a miracle backwards save. It seems like he's everywhere on the pitch. Like I mentioned earlier, he had those crazy 50s going on. Now you can find him popping off on the defense as well. Rubber Ducky to the backboard. Alex once again called upon to defend that backboard, much like he did during regulation, but now during overtime. Especially during game number 1, where it can really dictate who finds the early momentum and who's going to have to climb the long hill back up. Shot opportunity from Rocco, sends it wide. A big clear from Rue. Klosty does have a little bit of time and space to work with, especially now that Ranchiro's come up empty. It's off the crossbar though, off the shot from Rubber Ducky. Mighty Ducks bearing down once again. Little to no midfield presence from either of these two teams, as this ball just keeps sailing back and forth. Attack opportunity after attack opportunity. Ranchiro sends it wide, but Alex is there to make the stop anyways. It's not going to stop Rue though, who lobs another one towards target. Klosty hands this one off to Alex. Alex looking for a follow-up touch. He's got some space to work with, chooses to get it over to Klosty. As we approach 2 minutes into this overtime, still neither team has cracked, but that's not to say that the offense is lacking by any means, as both these teams hammering shot after shot on target. Klosty, the defense has really stepped it up here in this overtime, an absolute difference from regulation, as goals were being scored non-stop. Alex, he's looking for another air dribble. He's not going to find the 50 this time around. Now it's Rue with the flick, but no, comes up empty. Ducky Wanted to take this one to the skies, unfortunately with the minuscule 2 boost he had in the tank. He's somehow still going. Rocco eventually finds the clear though. Maybe a pass coming out from Rue. He had Rubber Ducky in his sights, but Rubber Ducky was unfortunately a bit too deep in the corner to make any significant passing play there. And now a monster 3 minutes into overtime for game number 1, and what a stark difference, but there's the 50 from Rue. He goes low and finds the dunk. And what a difference. I mean, we had 30 seconds a goal for game number 1, in regulation at least. And that passing play, I don't even know if we should be calling it that. Because it was Rue over to Ranchero who had been bumped into the goal line, and then Rue is there to sweep it up. Finds the 6th in Mighty Ducks. First for game number 1. My goodness, I mean, I don't even know how to describe that ending, but I'm sure Mighty Ducks are going to be pretty happy. Especially counting the amount of lucky circumstances we saw in regulation. I mean, we saw the own goal from King Rocco, we saw a kind of own goal from Rue as well. There was just havoc all around the pitch pretty much, so both teams definitely tensed up during that overtime, trying not to make any mistakes, and I mean, honestly, not many mistakes were made, especially on the defensive rotation. The midfield presence was still needed some development on either side of the pitch, but you can definitely see that the defense had greatly stepped it up. And now as we head here into game number 2, we're going to be looking for some more of that. Hopefully as teams develop into a more defensive style. Now Ranchero is going to initially win the kickoff here. We've seen some pretty interesting kickoff strategies. I feel like I saw balls deep in net fake it at least once back in game number 1. They were looking for the passing play, the classic where first player fakes it and the second player goes up sidewall. Or sorry, first player goes up sidewall, second player hits it to the sidewall, but balls deep in net. Did see them attempt to execute at least once. I don't think it came to fruition though. Maybe we'll see some more of that kickoff strategies happening. We get into game number 2 here. Alex, a big clear. Maybe looking for Rocco, but Rocco is already rotating back. Klosty looking for possession, but unfortunately off the flip, found himself a tad awkward. Couldn't find the follow-up. Klosty, that's a dangerous touch, but luckily got 2 teammates there to cover, just in case. Rocco and Rue both committing on this 50, both come up empty. Klosty finds a big win here in the midfield. Could be just what balls deep need here to set up a first, but Alex isn't there to take the shot, and in the split second that he takes to arrive, he does find possession though from the ceiling. Oh, it's just off the crossbar. A miracle save from Ranchero as Alex. His mechanics have been denied. But he's going to be looking for some more of those opportunities. That is his middle name. That is his strength. Finding opportunities, and he's found a lot of them back in game number 1, looking for some more of that magic. As we begin to get into game number 2, where balls deep in net, down by 1 in the series, looking for any sort of comeback. But still, we break even 0-0. Big 50 by Mighty Ducks. Oh, Rue slams it into the sky, looking for a follow-up. Rubber Ducky as well, in a good position to do some damage as he gets a follow-up touch. Klosty, at least in a very good position, sitting on the inside of the net, able to bang that out with some significant power. Allows Alex to get a possession here. Strong 50 to Rocco, but Rocco skies it. Klosty the follow-up. No, it's right into the lap of Rubber Ducky. The accuracy plaguing balls deep in your net right now as another opportunity gone to the wayside, but kudos to the Mighty Ducks here. Some great defense being played by them. I mean, we saw the miracle save from Ranchero, now Demo's flying everywhere across the pitch. Mighty Ducks, after deleting their opposition, actually it was gonna be Ranchero finds the Demo and just a bit of awkwardness on the goal line. Mighty Ducks finds a first. Now, I mean, you can begin to see the stark difference from game number 2 compared to game number 1. The defense definitely starting to show up here. Like I mentioned earlier, some crazy saves all around as another one from Rubber Ducky. But it's not going to stop the onslaught that is balls deep in your net. Renshiro as well deserves a shout out. He had a crazy save earlier. We see Rubber Ducky just popping off on the defense. He's not going to find the save this time around. He was in an okay position, but he was looking for the double jump. Looked like he backflipped on the goal line there. This one's just a kickoff goal though. Maybe a kickoff strategy gone wrong for balls deep. We'll see in the replay as it's going to be Klosty on Renshiro, and Renshiro finds the dunk off the kickoff. So kickoff strategy not gone wrong for balls deep in the net, just an unfortunate reality that they will now have to face as they trail by 1. Not looking to relive that overtime, but maybe they'll be able to finish off in regulation if balls deep adds their first, courtesy of Alex yet again, who simply does not know when to stop popping off. Another shot and another goal. Like much like game number 1, Alex had found the first 2 goals for balls deep in net. Now in game number 2, the same thing seems to be happening yet again. Mighty Ducks, on the other hand, are looking for some passes as well. Can see Aru has definitely been trying to get it to Ducky, but that's not to say that balls deep in your net has not either. We've seen some crazy passing plays from balls deep as well. Alex and Klosty, notably, have been able to put up a few of those numbers. Rocco as well doing a good job getting involved. Here's an opportunity for him here. Rocco, I'm sorry if you're watching this VOD. I have nothing good to say about this situation. I think Rocco knows full well. He dropped the nah in the chat. Rocco knows full well. That is rather unfortunate to say the least. I mean, a classic tier 3 moment. Once again, Mighty Ducks benefiting? Benefitting? Benefacting. It's a new word I'm inventing. Now Mighty Ducks just piling on the offense. It's Rubber Ducky threatening the pass over to Renshiro and Rocco. Or I think Klosty was anticipating the pass, maybe looking for Renshiro to push forward, take a 50 in the corner, and Klosty was looking for a big win on that 50. But then Renshiro never advanced. Instead it was Rubber Ducky who came in, wheels blazing. Now balls deep in the net, a big mountain to climb here. Trailing by 2, they were able to make some crazy comebacks back in game number 1. Oh, it's off the crossbar as Alex is not going to find a follow-up either. Slams it into the corner. Looked like a solid 50 taken by Mighty Ducks. Now it's Rue looking to get this over to Ducky. He's not able to find it though. Klosty sends this one midfield. Alex is there to take some possession, but a bit of awkwardness prevents him from doing so. Instead has to rotate back post in order to make this save. Klosty, no follow-up. Alex tries to keep it close, but Rocco unfortunately slams it away into the corner. Now Rue once again looking for the follow-up, and balls deep in your net. The players just throwing themselves at the ball right now in an attempt to break out of their own half. It's not too much time left here in game number 2. Mighty Ducks may have locked it away with that previous streak of offense and looking to keep possession as well. Renshiro sends it to the corner, and I think with that touch it might just be over here for game number 2 as Mighty Ducks going to find a second, unless maybe we'll see that fake kickoff coming out from balls deep here. That's pretty much the only way they're gonna find an opportunity to score here in the last 1 second. They're gonna be looking for the straight kickoff, and they did not get it. They got the diagonal, which means no fake kickoff, but oh, a shot, and it's been denied in the last second. I didn't even get an opportunity to see who got to save that shot. It came at such a blazing speed, and Mighty Ducks, the defense, the orange wall, impenetrable. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, that is robbery. If I'm Mighty Ducks, that is highway robbery as far as I'm concerned. It's literal centimeters away from sending that into another overtime. But a miracle save coming out from Mighty Ducks, and I wish I could tell you. Maybe take a look at the VOD and check it out later as to who made that miracle save, because they deserve quite some recognition for staying calm in that moment. The ice of Mighty Ducks. which makes sense. I mean, if you look at the logo, they're a hockey team. Of course, they've got the ice. Cool. And now as we get ready here for game number 3, balls deep in your net, taking pretty much all the time they can. They're not readying up. They're taking that full 1 minute to talk it out, figure out what they can do different here. But as time expires, ball deep gonna have to work with what they got. A little bit of a mountain climb as Mighty Ducks. Way threatening that sweep. Their defense has been phenomenal, having stepped it up quite a fair amount beginning the overtime of game number 1. The Mighty Ducks defense is one to be reckoned with. Now another interesting kickoff strategy coming out from balls deep. It's not going to result in a goal, but Alex literal inches away from finding a first very early into game number 3. But in this particular series, the first goal really does not seem to mean too much. Alex has been finding the first goal in games 1 and 2, but look at games number 1 and 2 now. They didn't come off with the win. Rubber Ducky sends this one slamming into the backboard. Alex there to make the stop, but he's not going to be able to find a follow-up touch. Instead, Rue is able to get it to the corner, find a little bit of space for Mighty Ducks here. Renshiro can get a solid 50, but Alex, I mean, I don't think he is capable of losing a 50 right now. Was Renshiro in a favorable position to take a neutral 50 or maybe a win, but Alex just comes out swinging and once again finding a first for balls deep. I believe that makes Alex 3 for 3 on first goals here in this series. But I'm sure Mighty Ducks don't mind at this point. They have proven that they are more than capable of making 1 goal, 2 goal comebacks, you name it, and Mighty Ducks seem to have it right now. As Rue, initial first touch, sends it midfield. Renshiro, he's there for the shot, but he's not going to be able to find the connection. As both teams playing ping pong in the midfield right now. This could be a slip up though, as Plosty finds that one going over his head. Rocco does as well. Luckily Alex is there to make the stop, but on the near post, luckily he's got Plosty to bail him out of that sticky situation. It's not going to stop Mighty Ducks though, as they send player after player, taking challenge after challenge. Finally Alex is going to find a big clear and forces Rue to rotate. Oh, it's off the crossbar. I came back just to see this, but a miracle save by Alex. 3 minutes on the clock here, and Mighty Ducks trailing by 1. I think this is probably the longest time in the series that they've been trailing. So the fact that they haven't found a goal just yet might start to make them a little nervous, but that's what Rubber Ducky is there for. He's capable keeping his team calm in these sticky situations, and 1 goal deficit as he reminds his team with this much time left on the clock. Nothing to worry about as long as their defense holds up to their job, which it definitely has in the past. But once again, ball deep in net. Oh, been looking for some bumps. King Rocco going wild on the goal line, takes a short rotation just to cut back and find some bumps for the second time. Unfortunately, nothing happening here on the offense for balls deep just yet. Alex is going to need a very strong 50 from the corner. He's not going to find it. Rocco just on a rampage. But none of those bumps have led to anything meaningful just yet. You got to time those bumps correctly if you want an opportunity at scoring. And although Rocco has been putting in some work on the offensive end, that's going to be Rubber Ducky. From the corner, looking for a very strong 50, and he finds it. Renshiro up for this quite early. I mean, Renshiro, the speed that he's displayed here in this series is pretty phenomenal. I think I remember seeing our first goal from Renshiro early into game number, maybe halftime into game number 1. He had a pretty massive clear past the halfway line, absolutely dusting Alex. And if Renshiro is putting up that levels of speed, then Mighty Ducks are going to be pretty close to make this 1 goal comeback. Oh, Rocco, he is quite awkward But Alex is going to find the first here. Rocco, I think he was looking for a bump on the backboard. He had Ducky in his sights, but Alex is there anyways to sweep it up. A 2-goal lead now for balls deep. I mean, history repeats itself yet again as Alex finds 2 goals to his name. Game number 1, he had the first 2. Game number 2, he also had the first 2. Looking to add a third, but unfortunately sends that one to the crossbar. Klosty does manage to actually confuse the enemy defense a little bit. Finds a little bit of time for balls deep to settle in on the rotation once again as Alex looks for a crazy play. Klosty sends this one high, but Rubber Ducky there to deny. He's got a half tank of boost to work with, but he's going to use it, bumping as many balls deep players as you can. That's going to leave Klosty or Alex in a 1v2 situation, at least until Rubber Ducky rotates back, which eventually he does, but to no avail as they haven't found the clear just yet. Alex once again coming up with possession. Flip reset, chooses to fake it to get it over one. A fake again as he dices up the enemy defense. Mighty Ducks staying calm and holding on. That's the one thing that Rubber Ducky is very capable of. Probably one of his greatest strengths, I would say. Now Mighty Ducks seem to have lost game number 3 here as the defense did hold on for the majority of the game, but the offense wasn't quite there. We had saw some good speed from Renshiro, but it wasn't quite enough to walk out with game number 3 here. Balls deep in net, starting to build back some momentum here, maybe threatening the pews, as Rocco would say. Yeah, that is interesting, huh? Half the lobby didn't break triple digits. Alex 647, Rocco 94, Klosty 68. That's pretty funny. I didn't even notice that until you guys pointed it out, to be honest. Yeah, now the score was entirely wrong as we get into game number 4. But that's okay. We can take a look at the scoreboard later, and in the meantime, we can actually talk about some stats. I'll post some stats from the last 3 games to see what we got going on here. Well, I was busy pulling out my stats, but looks like balls deep want to stop me from talking, and who else would it be? I mean, it's Alex. It is Alex. The first goal is his middle name right now, and this time much more early. I mean, only 5 seconds into game number 4 compared to the last few games. Incredibly early, but taking a look at the stats here, we got Alex, who has spent 77% of his time in behind the ball, and also 41% of his time furthest from the ball. Seems to indicate that Alex is taking the widest rotations in the lobby, but also check out these numbers of time on the ball. Rubber Ducky 19%, Alex 30%, a whopping 11% more than Rubber Ducky, the other tier 1 from Mighty Ducks. Everyone else in the lobby putting up numbers somewhere along the lines of 13% for Rue, 10% for Rocco. But Alex, having spent 30% of his time on the ball, is a ridiculous statement. Extremely wide rotations from Alex, but he can also tell that he likes to keep the ball close when possible. And you'll actually see that stat repeated a lot if you look at some other tier 1s, which I'll go into later. Maybe after this game we can look at some other of the tier 1s and look at their stats, because you'll see a similar story being told. Very wide rotations and keeping the ball close seems to be the way to play the game, especially in TRL 4 tier 1s. In terms of speed, Alex, of course, is the average fastest speed, coming at 57.7. He's also the one who spends the most time on low boost, oddly enough. He spends 39% of his time on low boost, only 3% of his time on full boost. So he spends pretty much, well, all of his time having mid to lowish boost, but not having full boost at all. In fact, if you look at the other numbers in the lobby, Klosty 15% of his time on full boost, and Rocco 11% of his time on full boost, which is like pretty similar for the other 5 players in the lobby. And then you've got Alex, only 3% of his time with full boost. Pretty interesting numbers, and we'll go into some more of those after the game. As now balls deep. Up by 2, Mighty Ducks. Once again struggling, much like game number 3, to find this comeback, especially now that Balls Deep has amassed a significant amount of momentum. Then Mighty Ducks is finding it hard to come up with a plan. Rubber Ducky, a very strong 50, but of course Alex is back to make this top, come off with the position as well, threatens the Musty Roo. Oh, this close Alex was to finding another dunk on the goal line. Would have been his third of the series if I'm not mistaken. And Alex finds another midfield 50. Klossy taking his time on this one. It's actually Alex who's up for this, for his Klossy's present in the midfield. Hits it to the backboard. Rocco's there for the follow-up. It's once again to the backboard. Alex, a little bit far away from the play. He's gonna ask Klossy to go ahead and make a challenge while Alex rotates in. Getting once again quite close to finding a third. Mighty Ducks simply can't break out of their own defensive half right now as Balls Deep. The rotations are perfect. Not many missed balls from Balls Deep as well right now as they're generating opportunity after opportunity. The midfield pressure mounting again and again. Alex looking for a dribble. He's actually managed to use Roo as a tool to advance this ball closer to the goal line. Alex takes to the skies looking for the fake. Does have to settle for the 50 instead since it looks like Mighty Ducks able to stay calm in the face of Alex and bearing down on them. Rubber Ducky sends this one high. No follow-up from Mighty Ducks just yet, but this is one of the first offensive streaks that we've seen from them all game long, which is definitely a good thing if you're a Mighty Ducks fan. But now it's Rubber Ducky on Alex. Alex opts for the shot and it's top bin. I mean, you could see the split second of hesitation here just causes Rubber Ducky, and also he knew Renshiro was going to be looking for the buff. Cuts his momentum and Renshiro just goes flipping past Alex. It looks like a simple shot all in all, but a ridiculous play from Alex, just dicing up the defense and finding a third for Balls Deep. Mighty Ducks simply can't find an answer against Alex right now, and with only a minute left on the clock, they're going to be looking for just about anything they can use as kryptonite to stop Alex, because he's been the name of the game right now. If you can shut this man down, you might have a solid chance at making a comeback, or at least finding out a solution here for game number 5 as game number 4 seems to be slowly slipping away. I don't believe we've seen a Pews on stream just yet. This might be the first. I think there's been has there been one this season? I'm not entirely sure, but if we were to witness the first on stream, that would be pretty cool. Especially if it's Rocco who's doing it. That'd be pretty funny. Game number 4 definitely coming to an end here as Mighty Ducks having failed to find an answer, and not only that, throughout the latter half of game number 4, or latter minute I should say, they haven't been able to find a solution either, which is a bit odd. In the last minute or so, you would hope to see Mighty Ducks stretch out of their comfort zone, try something new in an attempt to break down the Balls Deep in your net offense, because that offense has been unstoppable. Once that ball is on the orange side of the pitch, I don't think it's capable of ever leaving, as Balls Deep in your net have proven time and time again throughout game number 4. There was a Pews on Rocket Stream. You can do the math on who got Pewsed. It was probably Balls Deep, right? I mean, that sucks. Let's load up some stats from game number 4. Pretty interested to see what we've got here. We combine all 4 games together, we can take a look at the average score, and it looks like it's clearly Alex on the top. I mean, that's to be expected. On the top, we've got Alex, an average score is 773, Rubber Ducky second at 455. That is ridiculous. There's a 320 score gap in between Alex and Rubber Ducky if you average all 4 games. If you look at shots as well, it's ridiculous. Everyone else in the lobby putting up around 2 shots, maybe 1.5, 3 shots for Klossy on average. Then you look at Alex. a monster 6.25 shots on average, a ridiculous 3 goals on average over the course of those 4 games, and keep in mind, no one else in the lobby has even broke the 1 goal on average number. Alex is sitting at 3. I mean, that tells you the entire story for itself. If you look at score and how it's evolved over the course of the past 4 games as well, Alex initially started off with a 1000 score, but you can likely attribute that to there being a pretty long overtime. You saw the 2-3 minute overtime in game number 1, so that 1000 score, you can definitely be attributed to that, but since then, that score has only been keeping up to par as he puts up a monster 800 last game. Still holding on to those numbers like we talked about before, spending the most time behind the ball, but also the furthest from the ball, indicating he's kept those wide rotations in game number 4, Rubber Ducky, hoping that he's found the solution here as he lobs a long shot in, catches both Klosty and Rocco back, and Alex, just an unfortunate flip. I think he was looking to send that one to the backboard with the backflip. He's not able to find it there, and this could be the strategy for Mighty Ducks here. If they're able to catch Rocco and Klosty back at the same time, then that might be the solution. But I don't know if they found a solution for the oncoming offense just yet, as Alex, the long clear to the backboard, and a great demolition by Rocco as well to clear up the net. This ball's deep in your net. I mean, really putting the name where it belongs. In the meantime, we can actually look at the stats about how much time each player has spent in the air, and I find this one quite interesting. If you look at every other player, we're talking about high air. High air is defined as the amount of time spent in the air higher than the goal crossbar. In this particular scenario, Rubber Ducky spent about 2% of his time in quote-unquote high air, Rue as well about 2.5%, and Alex quite literally doubling the numbers of everyone else on the pitch, the most aerial based player by any means in this lobby, having spent 5% of his time in high air, no one else even getting to the halfway mark of that number. Alex has also spent the least amount of time on the ground. He spent 59% of his time on the ground, and everyone else is like 70 plus. Now with 3 minutes on the clock here, balls deep. They've lost a 1 goal to Mighty Ducks here, but still holding on to this 1 goal lead, and they're going to be looking to add another the second that Alex is able to find possession. Finds himself in a 1v1 right now. Rubber Ducky goes low 50, the follow-up takes its time on the side of Mighty Ducks, but eventually finally comes out, and the Mighty Ducks able to equalize for the first time in 3 games. It's been a long time coming. If you're a Mighty Ducks fan, we've been looking for them to make these comebacks like they did back in games 1 and 2, but now that it's game 5, things are really at stake and starting to heat up. Mighty Ducks have found some of that previous magic yet again. Rubber Ducky, monster clear. Alex, they're to send to the corner. It might be a little bit of a hard touch. He's forced to take a 50, so he was kind of hoping it would either roll down the wall, but he does make the best of the bounce he got. Alex, once again, to the backboard. Klosty up quite early. Looks to send to the backboard again. Alex goes up early. Notices that Rocco is a very deep third man right now. Oh, that's dangerous as Rocco side flips on the 50. Could have been disaster for Mighty Ducks, but luckily, balls deep. Oh, sorry, could have been disaster for balls deep. Luckily, they are able to keep it equal as Rue over to Ducky. Ducky can't find anything just yet. This could be a good position here, but Alex, having been threatened by the demo, is not able to advance. That's going to allow Rubber Ducky to rotate back. Sends it over, and now it's Rubber Ducky. He's last back, going to be forced to make a touch here. This ball is deep, beginning to bear down. So awkward on the defensive end of Mighty Ducks, but a ridiculous 50 by Renshiro. Another shot from Klosty, and a third for balls deep. A great 50 by Renshaw unfortunately just skyrocketed into the sidewall. And Klaus is there to punish. We've been waiting for the Kloster man to really begin to shine, and now that's game number 5. He's going to be looking to burn all cylinders. Klosty, oh, he just sends this one barely off target. Rocco, he can't find, oh my goodness, crazy passing plays from Mighty Ducks. I believe it was Rubber Ducky in the midfield who absolutely sent this one to Red Chiro, and can you believe that is a tier 3 taking the taking it from the pass, taking the shot. Mighty Ducks equalizing 1 minute on the clock here. Both teams trying to prove their mettle. As it really does come down to this, we're starting to get to golden goal scenario, ladies and gentlemen. As the next goal might just take it all here for game number 5, and it's all been leading up to both these teams still looking to find a statement in the season, and it's a Rue of 4th, balls deep in your net, in a very dangerous spot now, having worked so hard to come up with this reverse sweep opportunity. To lose it like this, would it be heartbreak if your ball's deep? They had a phenomenal performance back in games 3 and 4. They've got to revive some of that here as Rocco sends an initial one flying towards target. Alex as well. He's starting to get shut down by the Mighty Ducks here. And maybe Mighty Ducks have figured him out. Alex going to be looking for just about anything in the latter 20 seconds. He finds the sidewall double. It's slightly off target, and Rubber Ducky is able to clear it to the sidewall. He uses pretty much all of his resources to pinch this one midfield. But of course, it's right back into the hands of Alex, the last person you want to see take control of the ball. If you're Mighty Ducks, Alex looking to do some of that magic. Rockwell as well, throwing himself at the play to make anything happen. And ball is still alive. Rubber Ducky smacks it to the ground, and Mighty Ducks preventing the reverse sweep by the skin of their teeth. They barely keep it alive. They definitely showed up in games 1 and 2, fell apart a tad, games 3 and 4, but game 5, they kept the balls deep in your net team at bay, but just barely. My goodness, let's go have a word with them.
Yeah, we fucking did it. Holy shit.
Oh, my ears. Oh, I joined at a time, didn't I? How is it going, Mighty Ducks? How's it going, guys? Let's hear it.
Oh my god, bro. Holy shit.
It feels good to get that first one, you know?
We're coming for 2. Oh my god, bro. What the
I am
hell?
so happy. So I didn't even realize this was your guys' first win too. I mean, you guys don't play like that was your first win at all. Let's beginning to finish games 1 through 5. What's going through your head after you guys take 2, and then all of a sudden balls deep starting that reverse sweep?
I mean, the first 2 we're playing really well, even though we're making mistakes, but we kept coming back with the goals, and then man, they stepped it up. Alex fucking stepped up hard. So
dude, that guy, man, I totally.
Yeah. Let's hear it about Alex. Actually, it's gonna be my next question. It's gonna be about Alex. I mean, this man was just a demon on the pitch, putting up numbers beyond anyone's belief. Take a look at the VOD. You can hear some of those numbers that he's been putting up. But what was the strategy there, especially as you head into game number 5? What was the plan to shut him down?
Try to get Alex out of the picture as much as possible so we could actually score, you know? It was rough. Bro was just speeding around the field. Ugh. That was basically it. We were just trying to get him out of the picture. Holy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you had to. There was no other way around it. My next question goes to both Rubber Ducky and Ren Shiro. Throughout game number 5, I got to notice you guys definitely stepped up in terms of the passing plays. Was this planned? I think I distinctly remember Ren Shiro absolutely slamming in a pass from midfield into the back of the net. Was this a planned attempt, or is this something that you're happy to have seen developed during game number 5? A happy coincidence, if you will.
I mean, no, I was just like trying to prevent Rocco from getting the ball. I was clean beating him.
Gotcha.
But Ren, that's all Ren's positioning right there. He was in the perfect spot to get that ball.
Yeah, I just thought he was going to clear it, so I was going to try and maybe get it off the backboard, but it kind of just went straight to me, and I got a clean shot off of it. And even after that, it was almost still saved by Alex. I mean, that guy's crazy.
He is crazy. It's definitely one of the craziest games that we've seen Alex play. We've definitely seen him put up some numbers, but this was definitely a show. Alright, I think I don't really have any more questions to you guys. Do you have any last words to say to the chat, maybe to your opponents, before I head out?
I actually do.
Good luck.
Everyone in Twitch chat was voting against us with their channel points, and I voted for our team, and we won. So to everyone that lost it, especially Hotshot, he said that he lost all of his hard-earned doubloons. Suck it. That's it. Thank you, Scoodleboot, for voting for us.
Thank you,
Holy
Scoodle.
Thank you.
W doublings. Holy moly. Anyone else before I head out?
Nope. Thank you for the
Sweet.
stream.
As always, Mighty Ducks, you guys
Thank
put
you
up
for
a
letting me
hell
use
of
your
a show.
ult.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, for sure.
I love
Anytime,
you,
man.
man.
For sure. Mighty Ducks, you guys put
Alright.
up a hell of a show. Can't wait to see you guys around. GG's.
GG's.
I think we're the next game
GG's.
too, so
Yeah. Hopefully I'll talk to you soon again. See you guys.
hopefully.
Yep. See ya.
That was Mighty Ducks, and you can feel the momentum beginning to build as we head into our next game of the night. I believe in just a... Well, holy moly, it's 9:10. We were supposed to play at 8:45. It was Mighty Ducks on Team Zekrom. That game was supposed to happen over 20 minutes ago at this point. Christ. Okay, let's go ahead and get that lobby set up. I'm gonna take a minute or two break to get set up. See you guys real soon.
Your lips are stained with fiction. You always have your reasons, and I spoil you rotten. Your hands are sealed in pockets. You fill them with your secrets. To you, I am nothing. I am. Your kiss, sweet like poison. You know you make me reckless. I'll run, but you are friction. Your touch feels like heaven. You make me hate all my sins. You are my religion. My religion. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you.
Welcome back, everyone. We just got back from a very banger game, number 1, where we saw Mighty Ducks take on Balls Deep in your net, and Balls Deep, having just barely threatened out that reverse sweep, weren't able to lock it out, and Mighty Ducks has found their first win here in the regular season. Pretty W. Oh, who trolled predictions? What do you mean? Oh, I trolled predictions. Oops. I'll delete this one. We got Zekrom Mighty Ducks. Team Zekrom versus Mighty Ducks. There we go, chat. I fixed the prediction. You guys can all thank me now. Cool. With that in mind, to go ahead and get those channel points in while you still can. There's not too much time. We're gonna go ahead and quickly roll it here for series number 2 for the night. You got Zekrom on Mighty Ducks. Zekrom in the blue, Mighty Ducks in the orange. Mighty Ducks are gonna be looking to keep some of that momentum we saw from their first series of the night. Hopefully you can maintain some of that as we begin to get into their next series, looking to add another win to their book. Let's go ahead and switch over. Without further ado, I present to you series number 2, Zekrom Mighty Ducks. And we've looked at Team Zekrom before, but we might as well revisit their team while we can. We talked about Mighty Ducks last series, so I won't spend too much time on them. On the side of Team Zekrom, we've got Front Flip Freddy, who I believe is Dr. Mewtwo? Yes, I want to make sure I'm connecting those docs correctly. So I'll be referring to Front Flip Freddy as Mewtwo throughout the course of this series. Spoon, who I believe this is his second season competing, same with Stormzy, second season, and Team Zekrom going to be looking for the trophy throughout the course of this season. They've got none next to their game, but neither have Mighty Ducks. Rubber Ducky, so close last season, wasn't able to lock it out. And they're going to be looking to lock it out this season now as Mighty Ducks going to find a first, and it's Rubber Ducky with the dribble. I think that'll be a rather recurring theme throughout the course of this series. Rubber Ducky loves his ground plays. And maybe in a little bit we'll revisit some of those numbers, see how much time Rubber Ducky spent on the ground compared to the rest of his competition. Because I'd be willing to bet that Rubber Ducky had some interesting ground plays throughout the last series that probably didn't get a catch on the stream. Now Renshiro, he's up for the shot. Stormzy is going to be able to deny it, and this one off to Mewtwo, as Mewtwo taking his time. A little bit of a Flake's playstyle coming through, letting his opponent come to him. But it doesn't pan out too much. Luckily Zekrom is able to recoup possession. Spoon looking for a strong 50 from the corner, but as he dives deep on that challenge, he's going to be a bit slow on the rotate back. Now Mewtwo. And soon after Stormy, a crazy save by Rubber Ducky, maybe even threatening the counter attack here as it bounces into the midfield, and Renshiro was in a great spot to make a counter. Stormzy, he's going to be looking for an opportunity here, but Renshiro has been a monster everywhere on the pitch. We saw him absolutely pop off in the last series, and the amount of speed that which he's displayed honestly rivals that of some other tier 2s, and at times can outspeed even a tier 1, but those moments are rare, and when they come, Mighty Ducks always going to be thanking Renshiro for popping off. Now it's going to be Mewtwo, shot opportunity as Rue lunges to make the save, another counter attack as Renshiro, he gets it over 1, it's not going to get past Stormzy. Rue looking for strong 50 in the corner, but Mewtwo comes out on top. Both these teams beginning to play some boom ball in the midfield now. And one thing I feel like we would have seen more throughout the course of the last series was the demos. I mean, Rubber Ducky, he's well known for putting in those demolition numbers. But I guess last series wasn't the time to do it. They did come out with the win, so they must know something I don't. We will leave it at that. Rubber Ducky may be going to be looking to revitalize that strategy now that he's against a new opponent. Rubber Ducky getting quite close to finding his second as we approach 2 minutes left for game number 1. Zekrom still looking for a comeback, haven't found one yet, but pretty low scoring game so far, very focused in on the midfield and on the defense. As there's been some phenomenal saves all around. Mewtwo going to find one as Rubber Ducky sails past this ball, looking to hand it off to Renshiro. Renshiro taking a fair amount of time for this one, but Stormzy reached the play quite well, able to recover possession and also slow down the offense of Mighty Ducks as they begin to advance. All 3 players for Zekrom sitting in the midfield looking to pounce. There's a great flick from Mewtwo, but Rubber Ducky is staying strong on the goal line. Is able to break it out to the halfway line again. That's a mistouch from Mewtwo, and it's going to allow Rubber Ducky maybe some space to work with, but he wasn't anticipating the instant challenge from Stormzy. As he rotates out now, Rubber Ducky. Denied by Spoon. Spoon sends this one on target. Renshiro called upon. Unfortunately from the backboard. He was looking to try and send this one to the corner, but misplaced his flip. And unfortunately sends it skyrocketing into the floor, and Spoon is, for whatever reason, Spoon is just there to clean it up. Team Zekrom first. I'm gonna go ahead and end those submissions now. Holy moly, 11k on Mighty Ducks. Fair enough, whoever put in those numbers. Zekrom. Gonna find another to their name as Stormzy, and the initial one on target sent it to the crossbar. Now Zekrom. 1 goal lead to their name, Mighty Ducks. Trailing by 1. In games 1 and 2 of last series, we saw them make some phenomenal comebacks, even though it was Alex putting in the first 2 goals. Mighty Ducks never failed to reciprocate. That is until games 3 and 4 happened, but we won't talk about those. Zekrom. Off the back of Stormzy. Who chooses to leave the rotation actually was maybe considering that he might cut and go for a secondary challenge. Instead chooses to leave it for his teammates, as Stormzy looking to play a more passive. Okay, that is unfortunate here on the near post as Zekrom players get tangled up. It's a Rue who scores a massive 50, sends it all the way into the corner. Mighty Ducks. A second that Team Zekrom weren't expecting to see that opportunity coming. Now Mewtwo, he's up quite early to attempt to send this one to Spoon. Renshiro. Great defense by him yet again, and looking for a challenge on the sidewall. Rubber Ducky shot is denied. Mewtwo looking to keep this ball alive in the last couple of seconds. Stormzy does as well, sends it high. Spoon is there to keep it up even longer. Dead at Stormzy for the shot. 0-second goal for Team Zekrom. As all 3 players getting involved here was initially Stormzy, I believe, to the sidewall, and then it was Spoon to keep the ball alive. And then Zekrom nails it into the back of the net, and 0-second goal. Team Zekrom absolutely snatched this overtime away from Mighty Ducks. Find their way towards game number 1. Here we go for game number 2. Zekrom, after committing highway robbery, it was Mighty Ducks who had the goal lead throughout the major part of game number 1, I want to say, until Zekrom found the rhythm. As a bit of awkwardness ensues on the offensive end of Mighty Ducks, Zekrom coming out on top. Spoon taking his time with this, but Rubber Ducky, he had Spoon locked in his sights. As soon as he saw Spoon take an inkling of time, he put his target on his sights, locked it on the demo, and hoping to see some more of that coming out of Rubber Ducky, because we saw a lot of it last season, to say the least, and this season maybe not so much as he meshes in with his new team, but maybe he'll find a way to sneak in some of those demos. I know it's gonna be starting to look for them real soon. Renshiro from the corner. Gonna hand this one off to Rue. Mewtwo's there to challenge in the midfield. Sends it to the corner yet again. Both teams ping-ponging. Great fake by Rubber Ducky. Yes, he's able to nab the 100 boost as well. That's gonna buy a lot of space for the Mighty Duck. Spoon, it's gonna be awkward here. Rue gets a great challenge. And eventually the defense from Zekrom falls apart, and kudos to the Mighty Ducks here. 2 very strong 50s. The first one didn't show up in the replay, but it was Rubber Ducky from the midfield who scored a ridiculous fake. Not only that, but is able to grab the 100 boost as well. Be able to set up Rue for a good 50, and then Rue able to hand it off to Ducky, and Mighty Ducks finding it there first. Mewtwo trying to get another one on target. He does succeed, but ends up right into the lap of Rubber Ducky. Mewtwo. Very solid touch to set up some offense here, but it's off target. It was a pretty tough angle to make, to be fair. Now, Zekrom's gonna have to contend with a Mechie Ducky off the ceiling. Luckily, the Mechie Ducky not too mechie this time around. Try saying that one 3 times fast. Zekrom. Looking to break out of their own defensive half, it's Spoon. He's got Stormzy in the midfield to work with as well, but not anymore as Rubber Ducky says otherwise. Like I said earlier, Rubber Ducky looking to start heating up on some of those demos. Now as we approach halftime here for game number 2 is Zekrom, who's on the back foot. We saw a very similar situation in game number 1, but that time Zekrom were definitely able to make the comeback, and not only that, we saw the 0-second robbery from them as well. Now they're going to be looking to make some of that more magic happen. It's going to be Mighty Ducks, specifically Rubber Ducky. It's a good touch in field to work with, actually a little bit of a mistouch on the side of Team Zekrom, and Renshiro is there to capitalize. Spoon is looking to try to send this one either to the corner or to a teammate. Ends up doing a little bit of neither and ends up right into the lap of Mighty Ducks. We find a second. Two minutes on the clock here for Zekrom to make a comeback, and this is around the time that last game they started making some of that magic happen, but this time around, Rubber Ducky writing a bit of a different story. It's Rue who comes up empty on the initial first touch by Rubber Ducky, a flick over the last defender. And at that point it's just an open net for Rubber Ducky to walk in. Only a minute and change on the clock here for Zekrom to make any sort of comeback. As Zekrom now struggling to break out of their own defensive half, Spoon right into the lap of Renshiro, banks this one. He sees Rubber Ducky on the backboard, but Rubber Ducky's not able to make the connection just yet. Still, the fact that these passes are coming out from the tier 3 of Mighty Ducks could be dangerous for Zekrom if Renshiro is able to keep performing the way he has. Stormzy over to Mewtwo. Mewtwo comes up empty. And that had to be an opportunity which should have at least been on target if Zekrom wanted to make the comeback in game number 2. With that opportunity having gone to the wayside, I think it's safe to say game number 2 is under wraps. With a minute remaining, Zekrom need a small miracle here, but likely we're gonna see them start to look for some new strategies. What on earth? How is this a goal? What? I gotta watch this one another time myself. Rubber Ducky and Renshiro both go up and it's in. I mean, calculated or not, I'll let you guys decide. That is truly a TRL clip. Truly, Rocco would be happy to see this one go into the clips channel. I'm gonna revisit that one a little bit later, and with that one, I mean, if the third goal wasn't the nail in the coffin, that pre-jump from Renshiro into the fourth was definitely it. 30 seconds left, and Zekrom not going to be able to find game number 2 here as Mighty Ducks more than happy to equalize. Stormzy simply cannot get past Ducky as Ducky and Orange well on the defense. We've seen some crazy defensive plays from Mighty Ducks all around, but today, more so than ever, the defense has definitely held up to every task imaginable, but not that passing plays as Mewtwo sends a rocket into the back of the net.
Going to need a tune-up after that.
So I have no idea if the stream is still alive, because I DC'd for a hot second. Seems fine, and let me know if it's not. Yeah, I literally tuned in and somehow... okay, I guess I didn't DC, although OBS did DC. We won't question it, chat. It worked out. Alright, now that OBS seems to be stable again, let's take a look at what we missed for the beginning of game number 3, Zekrom finding their forced off the back of Stormzy, I think, after Mighty Ducks was able to equalize in the series. Zekrom is looking to bring some of that magic back from game number 1 that we saw earlier, very dominant performance from them, but Mighty Ducks were able to strike back in game number 2. That's gonna be Rubber Ducky. And it's off to Renshiro, that one same passing play, again being developed on the side of Mighty Ducks. We saw it in game number 5, I believe, of Mighty Ducks vs Balls Netas, very similar passing play from Rubber Ducky into the lap of Renshiro. Now, looks like that's a strategy that we're going to be relying upon to score some more goals here, maybe make this 1-goal comeback in game number 3. As we approach halftime, Mighty Ducks still trailing by 1 at Stormzy, but easily denied by Rubber Ducky, who gets a follow-up touch as well. Rue's there to take the shot, but Spoon a miracle save and a flurry of shots and defensive stops coming out from either side, both orange and blue car alike, combining to keep the 1-0 lead for Zekrom alive. Now a big clear coming out from Rue. Renshiro there to reciprocate. Rubber Ducky, good 50 into the corner, that's going to allow Rue to have an opportunity to advance. Since this one midfield, Rubber Duck, you can see him lurking, looking for a time to strike. He's going to find it here, but he's been bumped out of the position by Stormzy after getting his initial touch. Luckily, Renshiro is also present to rotate in, find a follow-up, and now the demo is coming out from Mighty Ducks as they've deleted 2 players off the pitch in quick succession, and now there's a third from Rue. Rubber Ducky to the backboard. Rue just being an absolute menace on the pitch right now, looking for demos whenever possible, but is it going to stop? Going to stop Zekrom for now. Spoon looking for a 50 as the ball was coming down. He's not going to find it. And I actually am quite curious, now that we've passed 2 games, to take a look at some of the statistics, which maybe we'll do after the end of this game. Only a minute left, we'll let this game finish and then we can talk about some stats. But of worth noting is probably the ground stat. I think from Mighty Ducks, Rubber Ducky has been pretty ground based, and I would like to see some of those stats as we finish up this game, which Zekrom is looking to do earlier rather than later, as Stormzy going to find himself a second. And I believe that's 100% goal participation from Stormzy here in game number 3. 2 goals, 2 saves, 2 shots. Classic from Stormzy, as Zekrom, looking to add a second game to their belt, put themselves on match point, and Mighty Ducks, the momentum they had at the end of their Balls Deep series seems to have come to a halt, as this one's off target as well. Now it's going to be Rue. Sending it to the backboard. Stormzy there to deny it. He was perched up on the backboard for a fair amount of time there, looking to deny the shot when it came out. Another opportunity is Rue. It's off target once again. The Mighty Ducks struggling with accuracy here in game number 3, but at least the demolition's going strongly in their favor. It's another statistic we'll probably take a look at, the demolitions of Mighty Ducks versus Zekrom, because as of right now it seems to be quite one-sided. And as the ball touches the ground here, that's game number 2 in Team Zekrom. Match point. Cool. Let me pull up some of those past replays from the past 3 games of Zekrom versus Mighty Ducks. And starting off with the surface level stats, in terms of score, it's actually Rubber Ducky who comes out on top. An average of 526 score across the 3 games, with second coming into Stormzy with 396. So approximately a 130-ish score difference in between those 2 players. So we now get into game number 4 here. As I mentioned, I do want to take a look at those ground statistics, but Stormzy seems to be shutting me up right now. He's been on a spree ever since game number 2. He's gonna add another one to his belt here. That's 3 unanswered goals from the hand of Stormzy right now that Mighty Ducks still have to find a solution for. But in terms of the ground plays, it looks like I was indeed correct, as Rubber Ducky has spent some of the most time on the ground, having spent 72% of his time on the ground. On the other side of the pitch, Stormzy has spent the least time on the ground, actually only 64% of his time, whereas Stormzy has spent 34% of time in the air, which goes to show you how opposite these 2 tier 1s are. It's like yin and yang basically. Stormzy has also spent most of his time in high air, and to remind you guys, high air, it's the amount of time spent in the air but higher than the goal crossbar. No one else in the lobby has more than 2% of his time in high air, but Stormzy has 4.3. So very aerial based tier 1 from the side of tier Zekrom. But Mighty Ducks, not as aerial based. They've been looking for some passing plays. Rubber Ducky and Renshiro have definitely been looking for some of those. Now Renshiro tees this one up for Rubber Ducky. Rubber Ducky sends this one flying. It's on target. Stormzy able to make the stop. As the team settling into the rotation once again, Zekrom holding on to that 1 goal lead. Much like game number 3, Mighty Ducks were unable to come up with an answer. And now let's see if they're able to come up with the one when it really matters. Having taken their first series all season, they're now looking to add another under the belt, but it's gonna have to start with this 1 goal if they can find 3 minutes on the clock to do so. As Stormzy, he's got Rue in his sights, he knows Rue's there, but now Rue's been deleted. So has Rubber Ducky, as all 3 players still left standing. Oh sorry, Rue was not the one deleted, he was actually the one doing the deleting. And speaking of which, I do want to see some of those demos. Over the average of past 3 games, we've got Rubber Ducky with 2.3 demos on average. Rue only has 1 demo on average, which is interesting. I feel like Rue had definitely been putting up some crazy numbers, but to be fair, that was only in the last game. If you look at the last game alone, it looks like Rue had 3 demos, Rubber Ducky had 3 as well. So combined, Mighty Ducks had 8 demos, and Team Zekrom had 0 of all of last game. So definitely coming out on top in terms of the demolition game. As now we approach halftime in game number 4, Mighty Ducks seem to have equalized. Rubber Ducky looking to add another, hopefully force the game 5 here. As Mewtwo looking for some possession, hands this one off to Stormzy. To the corner, Rue is going to be called upon to go up quickly and deny Stormzy. But denying the tier 1 is no easy task. But it does work out for the Mighty Ducks as they break out, now looking for a counter. He's got Rue in the midfield. And Mighty Ducks able to dish in the second. With a minute and change left on the clock, Team Zekrom now beginning to look for a response. We haven't seen them in this position recently. They've definitely been in the driver's seat the last few games. Now Stormzy. This is a little bit awkward on the goal line. He's actually backwards to deal with this ball, but Zekrom able to hold together. Once again, the demos beginning to pile on for the Mighty Ducks. already a handful of demos to their name looking to bring up some of those average numbers we had just talked about. Stormzy. Since one to the midfield, you can see Spoon as well looking for a very aggressive challenge as Zekrom, pushing hard and fast to make this 1-goal comeback. And when all three players are pushing up like that, then it does tend to leave your last in a bit of an awkward spot, as Mewtwo, I believe, was looking for a very strong clear, but Rubber Ducky was all over it. Stormzy very close to making the stop, but eventually does not come through, and Mighty Ducks beginning to force the game number 5. Now these demolitions are really starting to play a be a big thorn into the back of Team Zekrom. I don't believe they started to answer back with their own demolitions just yet, but they are definitely at the behest of the horns of Mighty Ducks. With 30 seconds here, I think it's pretty safe to say that Zekrom are not going to find a solution for game number 4. This opportunity from Stormzy has to be a goal if they want the comeback, but Rubber Ducky has been able to deny on the goal line again and again. Rue as well, a miracle clear off the crossbar. Mighty Ducks have been able to hold on to game number 4. Oh, it's off the crossbar again from Spoon. And with that, game number 4 in favor of Mighty Ducks. We're looking towards another game number 5, and gotta start worrying about the fatigue. Mighty Ducks have played 2 series, this is their second series of the night. And keep in mind, their first series was also pretty long-winded. In fact, they went through a 3-minute overtime in game number 1 of their previous series versus Balls Deep in Your Net. You know, with 2 series in quick succession, you gotta wonder how this game number 5 is going to affect them, especially physically. You know that Rue is on the East Coast, and when it's starting to get pretty late at night, then we'll see if that does affect the Mighty Ducks here. Hopefully they are able to hold on as we get ready into game number 5. As we get into game number 5 here, we can also revisit some of the stats, because those demolition numbers have definitely changed. Rubber Ducky is still putting up a monster 2.5 average demos per game. On total, Rubber Ducky having accounted for 10 demos, Rue for 5, and Renchiro for 2. That puts this team at a combined 17 demos. On the meantime, you can look at the demos on the other side of the pitch, and I will tell you, it's not even half that. Stormzy has 7, Spoon has 1, and Mewtwo also has 1. So, maybe it is half, you know? But still, oh, we've got a rule 1. Oh, the camera's dying. So, I think this is a 2v2 now. We got Rue and Ducky versus, looks like Mewtwo and Stormzy. So, tier 1 and 2 versus a tier 1 and 3, but somehow Zekrom coming on top. This is technically an unfair matchup, but Team Zekrom simply don't mind. They find the first in this 2v2. Mighty Ducks trailing by 1. We saw them trailing by 1 back in game number 4. And they were able to make the comeback, much like they are able to right now. Rue, once again, finding the equalizer very early into game number 5. Both teams have managed to equalize. That's a pretty interesting glitch. I didn't even know that was possible. If any of you guys ever encountered this, I am unsure. I think we're gonna call it 1-1 at 4 minutes. Just chat agree with me or disagree. Yeah, I wish I'd noticed that restart message a bit sooner so that way I could actually, you know, count the 15 seconds and so.
Sensational goal! Absolutely magnificent goal!
This is a very interesting situation. If Mini says it 1-0 Zekrom, we go 1-0 Zekrom. Mini, can you give me one more confirmation? 1-0 Zekrom at 4 minutes, or sorry, 4:05. Okay. Want to give a shout out to Mini in the chat for helping us with this bit of an awkward situation as we now get back into game number 5, where we did unfortunately encounter psionics bugs. Mighty Ducks were able to equalize at the end. Before that goal was called void. Rubber Ducky is going to be hungry, looking for this one goal comeback now. And you can see Renshiro and Rubber Ducky already starting to put up some of these passing plays. It's Rubber Ducky to the backboard. Renshiro was in a position to maybe make a first goal. Not going to find it though. Stormzy sends it to the backboard one more time. Spoon going to be looking to add a second to their name, and with 3 minutes on the clock, you can see how quickly time is ticking down if you're Mighty Ducks in this pretty awkward game number 5. But both teams have definitely kind of got a little bit iced out after a pretty long unintended timeout. Ah, come on, you guys are... I mean, I know you guys all put it in. It's not just Mini, but at the end of the day, Mini the official ref. Oh, that's a shot though, and Spoon gonna have a hard time... Oh, sorry. Renshiro gonna have a hard time denying that one from Spoon, as he actually pinches it off the ground to Renshiro. I mean, very tough save to make in that situation. He was in a good position, but unfortunately wasn't able to make the stop necessary. Renshiro sends this one high. Spoon once again able to make the stop. Zekrom coming bearing down, looking to lock down game number 5. Rubber Ducky, he's looking to send this one top bin, but it's off target. Rue as well. He's gonna find the follow. This one sent middle yet again as 2 players committing on the side of Zekrom. Halftime here into game number 5. Mighty Ducks still looking for an answer. They've been getting so close every time, but Zekrom feels like they are always there. Oh my goodness. Rue, great control being demonstrated from the goal line as he dribbles this one out. Mighty Ducks find their first at the hand of Rubber Ducky. With 2 minutes left, they have a great opportunity and a great flick from Ducky there as he sends it over the last defender into the crossbar for the follow-up. 2 minutes left. Mighty Ducks still quite hungry to make this comeback, as they probably feel that they've been cheated out of their equalizer goal back at the 4-minute mark. Rubber Ducky, another flick yet again. He's been really loving this ground play. He's loving the flicks when he can. Renshiro sends this one high. Ooh, but it's been denied yet again. Rue sends it over to Renshiro. Renshiro full boost in the tank. He's not going to be able to go for this one, but luckily his teammate Rue is already more than up for that ball. Stormzy now takes the skies. 2 players back to left to defend for the Mighty Ducks. And of course, it's a Rubber Ducky looking to take the dribble. It's where his second home is. Stormzy over to Freddy. Freddy once again, aka Mewtwo, looking for the sidewall. Renshiro and both Rue are back to defend. Renshiro able to capitalize from the corner, but that's not going to stop the onslaught that is Team Zekrom. Oh my goodness, the bump mere milliseconds away from knocking Ducky out of position and adding a third to Team Zekrom. Mewtwo sends this one high. I mean, Rue is so awkward there. Finally, the bumps begin to pile up onto the goal line. Rue is in his spot to make a potential stop. Unfortunately, he's been absolutely thrown out of position, and courtesy of Spoon flipping hard into the back of Rue. And no defender left for the Mighty Ducks as they trail by 2. Rubber Ducky. Renshiro for the follow-up. Rue, he's gonna have to run back to be able to make the stop. Able to control this to the corner as well with only 40 seconds. Not the time to be taking it slow, as a little bit of miscommunication happening in the midfield by the Ducks, as they scramble to add a second. That's gotta happen sooner rather than later, as Rue over to Renshiro. Renshiro sends this high in an attempt to make Mighty Ducks as awkward as possible, but Zekrom is not faltering. The defense holding on strong right now to the backboard yet again. Spoon is present, and with 10 seconds left, Zekrom now taking game number 5, and an albeit controversial fashion, they are the winners, having scored the most goals 3-1 in game number 5. Team Zekrom going to finish it off, and you can probably feel the disappointment coming out from Mighty Ducks. Like we mentioned earlier, they definitely felt a little cheated out of that goal back in the 4-minute mark. But I suppose we will talk about that with Team Zekrom here.
Yeah.
So, how's it going, Zekrom?
Hello. What's good, man?
So, I mean, game number 5. What's going through your minds, especially? We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Let's hear about the invisible car. I mean, what on earth happened?
He was invisible the whole time I was in the Rule 1, but I thought that it would just go away after the restart on the kickoff, and then it didn't. And so when he came to challenge the ball after kickoff, I just couldn't see him there, and I thought I had a free touch.
Interesting. Okay. By all means, I know Mighty Ducks as well is asking if you have any questions about the ref call. Feel free to reach out in staff help channel. But overall, about the what's up, Spin?
We scored 2 extra goals, so we would have won anyways.
There's a fair amount. I mean, you could also argue that like the mental debuff definitely helped.
Yeah, the mental deficit.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be had for there's an argument to be had for both sides. So we'll end that conversation there. For the other 4 games, though, I gotta ask. I mean, you guys were definitely putting up a show. What was the strategy there? You knew you were going against Mighty Ducks, especially they've been putting out so many demolitions. It was a ridiculous amount. Run share was definitely out there. My Rubber Ducky as well. What was the strategy once you realized they were just going super demo heavy?
Well, when you're the one who taught Ducky the strategy of how to demo, it's kind of easy to beat after that, so strategy isn't really necessary, I don't think.
Oh, that is talking.
Just be better.
Just be better. Fair enough. I think I don't really have too many questions. You okay, Stormzy?
No,
that's crazy. Game, dude.
Oh, that is unfortunate. How sick are you, bro? Scale of 1 to 10.
Sick am I? I'm absolutely garbage at this game, but I make it work. Let's say 10 out of 10. 10-6
I don't think bro understood my question whatsoever, but it's okay. 10 out of 10 for Stormzy. I don't really have too many questions for you guys, but any thoughts on the game as a whole and anything you'd like to say to your opponents, Mighty Ducks?
Yeah, good games.
Nice.
Congrats on winning your first game. Yeah.
Now that you guys have also made it to 2-4 here in this season, if I'm not mistaken, what are the plans to make sure you don't end up as part of this bottom 2 teams who unfortunately will get cut, will not make it to the group stage? What are the plans to stay out of this bottom 2?
Who's our other competition for those spots? It's
there's a couple
professional
of
bystanders,
Mighty Ducks, professional bystanders. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We just need to work on the whiff.
Yeah,
that's the big part. Hitting the ball.
Hitting the ball is very important.
Yes, hitting the ball. That is one major thing.
That does make sense. I mean, hit the ball, stay out of the bottom 2. It checks out the strategies there. Zekrom, you guys put up a hell of a show. I enjoyed seeing you guys on the pitch. GG's, guys.
Thanks.
GG's.
Thanks.
I think that is going to be it. Wrapping up for our games for today. That was Team Zekrom having just taken on Mighty Ducks, finding their way towards a second win, finishing up at 2-4 here for this week. Or, not this week, this day I should say. Mighty Ducks as well, 1-6 for right now. And I believe that was all the games that we watched for today. I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as I did. And before we wrap up the stream, I want to give a very quick shout out to all of our sponsors. I know definitely Anna, having put in the gifted subs earlier. Brightside as well, thank you for the sub. And I want to give a quick shout out to all of our server boosters. And I once again have to pull them all up because there are simply so many. But off the top of my head, we've got Anna, Green, Hotshot, Lua, Mini, Deso, Fernado. Who else we got? I think I covered most of them, to be honest. But thank you guys all the server boosters as well. Keep in mind that all the donations to the channel, all the subs, all the gifted subs, prime subs, etc., they will all go to the prize pool. Speaking of the prize pool, if you're interested in that, feel free to shoot me a DM very quickly. The prize pool information will be coming out tomorrow morning on the number. But in the meantime, if you are interested in donating, shoot me a DM on my Discord at Waycy, WAYCY. That was WAYCEY if you're interested in donating to the prize pool. And I think that is going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I did. Have a good night. See you guys next time.